Hi and welcome. My name is Ruth Kirschner. I am a licensed clinical social worker and program manager for the National Family Caregiver Support Program of Montgomery County, Maryland. Today, I am joined by my colleague, Melissa Tritto.
Hello, Ruth. How are you? Ruth, I'm really glad you're here with me today. Someone I love has recently started showing signs of cognitive decline, and I fear we're in uncharted territory. Knowing how unsettling this must be for her, I want her to still feel respected and maintain her dignity. So I've heard as we age, time can change the way we perceive and react to color. And as a longtime professional artist, I want to know how we can use color in a supportive way to help her in her home.
Wonderful. And today we're going to talk about the color white, since we both have white on us. It's a surprise, surprise. And white is a very complicated color. We're wearing it and we're very beautiful and lovely, so we don't fade away. But using the color white can make things fade and disappear from sight. And for people with cognitive loss, white is not always the best color to use. It's very important, thinking about the color white, that you use good lighting. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD lighting, is really helpful. You can get it now anywhere in your house, in the bathroom, in the bedroom, and it really helps brighten things in the house so that your loved one can see. So you want them to be able to do that. You want to design your home with contrasting colors. Everything shouldn't be white, pale, white, mauve, white, gray. You want to start popping with more vibrant. What are the colors that you say are like the top colors that you can see?
Primary colors you
Primary
can really
colors,
see.
exactly.
Blue, red, yellow, any colors in those bright, and use those bright shades would be great and would definitely pop in a room. I would even throw in some violet too.
Ooh la la.
So a big concern, of course, is what happens when my loved one is alone. Falls. Can you go into depth about that?
Absolutely. A big concern for falls is when, for example, you don't see the edges of things. A big problem with furniture, a lot of us do matching, coordinating carpeting and chairs. When you go to sit down, if it's the same color, oops, you might miss the chair and fall down on the rug. It's really important, when I talk to you about contrasting colors, an easy example to think about is your fixtures on the walls. So many times you go into houses and the wall color is a very pretty blue and the light fixture is painted blue.
Oh.
If you have a problem with vision, you're not going to be able to see the light fixture. If you don't turn a light on when you come into a room and it's dark, you're going to fall. So these are all problems. You mentioned also that your loved one lives alone. So when we talk about the color white, we really want to think one of the problems we have for people who live alone is eating, is making sure they get enough nutrition, enough food. So we want to think about presentation. You want to think about not just the amounts of food and what foods they're eating, but the colors of the plates that you're putting the food on. So for example, if I have a white tablecloth and a white plate and a white fork, can your loved one see it?
No.
Where is it? No. But if you add and change it up a little bit and put a red plate or any color plate in between the white tablecloth and the fork, voila.
Pops right out.
Pops
so much
right out.
easier to see.
Exactly.
It must be so much easier for them to see too.
Exactly. So you want to always use, you can use white. No, I'm not telling you can't use white, but just use it with contrasting colors.
So Ruth, once you eat and you leave the table, where do most falls happen?
Well, thinking about the fact that after you eat, you go to the bathroom.
Ah.
There you go. That was my trick, right? Trick question that you just asked me.
So when people fall in the bathroom, is it worse at night? Is there some fixes that you can do to fix the bathroom so that it's safer for them? Because, if they're home alone, what can you do? You want to make it as safe as possible.
Absolutely. And the reason we're talking about white is think about the bathrooms. Almost every bathroom everywhere. The toilet is white, the bathtub is white, the sink can usually sometimes be white. You make nice, pretty white, pale floors. The walls are pretty white or beigey kind of colors. So if you go into the bathroom at night, nobody turns on at 2 a.m. in the morning, the bright light to wake
Never.
yourself up. And the difference of seeing that toilet that's white, the floor that's white, that's where the falls happen. People misjudge where they're trying to sit, and plump, they go right on the floor and fall. The other problem, the other easy fix that we want to do is add motion sensors. We now have one of the best things in the world, is my favorite thing. It's a motion sensor inside the toilet that makes very pretty colors. You also can use the little Xmas lights around the lid. You can change up the color of the toilet. The color of the lid can be one color, the seat can be a different. The other really great idea to do is put a contrasting wall. Just paint one wall. You don't have to paint all your walls, but one wall a different color than that's behind the toilet seat. So it really makes a difference and makes the toilet
That's a quick
stand out.
fix.
Yeah?
Let me ask you this. What about putting like a nice shag rug that's a different color? You know, you got like white floors and you don't want them to slip. So what about putting like a bright red shag rug around the toilet so that you know that they're not slipping and they can find where the toilet is? Would that work?
Put your hand out. No. Whatever you do, no little rugs. Those are the biggest fall risks forever.
Really?
So, you know, even those little rugs around the toilet seat,
I would think that would be great.
Take them up. You're going to trip. Your walker's going to slip on it. Your legs, your cane is going to get caught on it. No rugs whatsoever.
Wow. Okay.
And that goes right to the white glossy floors. You don't even have to have your floor be so spick and span. I'd rather people with low vision and cognitive loss, when you have these really shiny white floors, they can feel like there's a glare. They might think it's wet and slippery, and they would make a misstep. So use like a more of a matte finish on your floors versus anything else. And in terms of slipping, I do want to share, as I said, my very favorite thing is the motion sensor inside the actual toilet bowl. So when you open the door, it lights up, and it can go in pretty colors. It can be white. And there's two really wonderful reasons for this, benefits for this, not even reasons, benefits. The benefit is if you have a man living in the house and he opens the door and the toilet seat itself lights up, it will help with the aim.
I got 4 men in my household, so I think I might get a few of those.
You understand. And the other side of it, the second really benefit is if the man is getting everything in the toilet seat, there's no wet on the floor, so that when the woman walks in afterwards and slips on a wet floor. So you can get those little toilet seat lights at Amazon. They're like $7.99. They're really cheap. An easy, wonderful fix to help you not fall in the bathroom.
So the quick fix for the bathroom, when it becomes a danger, is there anything else you can add to that?
Well, I would say motion sensors all along your hallway. So the minute you get out of bed, you can put white motion sensors. They have the kind that just stick onto the wall. So from your bedroom all the way down the hallway to the bathroom.
Oh, perfect.
You want as many motion sensors as you can.
Wow. So they will find their way out of bed in the middle of the night to the bathroom, and hopefully safely, so you won't have to worry about them when you're not living with them.
Right.
The other challenge, speaking of getting up in the middle of the night and using the bathroom, is I can't get my loved one to go into her sheets at night. She gets on top of her bed, but she doesn't get like into her bed. Why is that?
Part of the problem is kind of the same concept as I showed you with the plate and the fork looking the same.
Yes.
If you have a beautiful white fitted sheet at the bottom, a white cover sheet, and then a white duvet or blanket, the person doesn't know where to slip into.
Oh.
They don't know the difference, so they just lay on the front, on the top. So go in your linen closet, divide up your blue sheets, your green sheets, your pink sheets, and separate them out so that you have different colors for all the sets of the sheets. Because white is a very difficult color for someone with cognitive decline to differentiate, to go slide in between.
You can't
between
figure
their
out
feet.
where you get in.
Right, exactly.
How do I get into that bed? I just want to go to sleep.
Exactly.
So now you get up in the morning, and I noticed that my loved one walks around the house, and she seems very unsettled. She doesn't seem to like settle down. I don't feel like she feels homey. Why is that?
Well, let's look at your house. are almost all the rooms, those beautiful, right now it's very trendy to have pastel colors, whites, beiges, mauves, and even in all the assisted livings and a lot of the long-term care facilities, it's an easier color to keep up. However, for somebody with cognitive decline, if all the walls are white or very light colored, to them it looks like the Indianapolis Speedway. They don't see corners. So they are continuing to walk around because they can't get settled into a place to stop. So one of the things you can do again is the accent wall. Paint one wall like a bright yellow or a pretty yellow or a blue so that they know, there's an end to each one. The other thing you can do is put pictures on the walls. You know, not everybody likes a lot of pictures, but it's important for somebody with cognitive loss to see that there are pictures, to know this wall ends here, this wall ends here.
Interesting. It reminds me kind of in the old days when people had those old Victorian homes, they were painted in I think 7 colors they used on those homes. They were bright colors, and that's what made their homes feel so homey. Like the dining rooms were painted Venetian red, and the bedrooms were painted dark purple. Yeah, there was some bright colors.
Some good ideas.
Maybe we need to go back to that.
Well, and I also want to say when you talk about color, the color white can also be used as camouflage. So if there's places you don't want your loved one to go, let's say you don't want them to open that medicine cabinet in the bathroom, paint the medicine cabinet white as well as the 2 walls, or whatever color the 2 walls are, so that it just blends right in. If you don't want them going into the coat closet because they keep looking for their coat to try and leave, you can make the closet the same color as the 2 walls opposite it, and it blends away and disappears from view.
That is very clever, Ruth.
It is good. One of the other things a lot of people do try and is elope, leave the house, leave the building. A great thing to do on the inside of your outer doors that make exit doors is the Alzheimer's Association and Amazon have their contact paper. You can just stick them up with contact paper, and you can have pictures of flowers, a florist shop, libraries, books, so that if the person is walking around the house looking to leave, that exit door doesn't look like a door anymore, so they don't try and escape. So you can use colors and paint and ideas for the positive and for the negative to try and contain somebody not to leave, but also to help them to go into different rooms and go into different areas.
This is great, Ruth.
Oh,
you have shared with us so much information that will help us really keep our loved ones safe and secure, and very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I could go on forever. You know, I have a million different ideas, but we're going to stop now. And in closing, we hope you found this information about the color white informative and helpful. For further information, please contact ruth.kirschner, that's me, at montgomerycountymd.gov or call 240-777-3000. Thank you for joining us. We hope this caregiver information is helpful.